Hey guys, this is Reese, aka Beezy. In this video, I'm going to go over why Internet 3.0 is going to replace Internet 2.0. And this isn't just going to happen because it's some sort of trend. It's going to happen because Internet 2.0 over the long haul is not sustainable, and how everything will be going over to the Internet 3.0, which is the blockchain. But first, let's go over, let's look at what Elon Musk says about Internet 2.0 and kind of put it in its place.
But the AI is informed, strangely, by the human limbic system. It is, in large part, our id writ large.
How so?
Well, you mentioned all those things, the sort of primal drives.
Mm-hmm.
There's all the things that we like and hate and fear. They're all there on the internet. They're a projection of our limbic system. It's true.
No, it makes sense.
The limbic system is a lower level of thought. If we look at the definition here, it's a complex system of nerves and networks in the brain involving several areas near the edge of the cortex concerning with instinct and mood. It controls basic emotions: fear, pleasure, anger, and drives: hunger, sex, dominance, care, and offspring. So, although all those things are relevant to the human experience, it's a lower level of thought, all those things. Those are more primal thoughts, and that's what the current Web 2.0 is based on, basically. According to Elon Musk. And Web 3.0, you're dealing with higher levels of thought. And you have different economies within each blockchain. And so how that relates to humanity is like this. So say you have someone that's really good at motocross, and they do big jumps, do flips, and all that stuff. There's a certain amount of time, effort, energy that they have and put into becoming good at that. And they have, and the really good ones have a certain sort of influence in that particular community. Now let's take like quilt making, for instance. Some people have been quilting for years and they have tons of knowledge and all this stuff. Now if you try to get someone that had all this motocross experience into the quilting world, well, that influence would be irrelevant. Just like if the quilting person tried to be, influential inside the motocross world, it'd be irrelevant. So this is kind of how, this is like the reflection of the different economies within the blockchain work. They each are very specific to specific functions, and they only work within certain industries. So as you can see, quilt making, motocross, and all these things, these are higher levels of thought. You're not thinking about your mood, your fear, pleasure, anger. Hobbies and professions and higher level knowledge is what the blockchain is dealing with. Whereas Web 2.0 is dealing with more of the lower levels, but it's, which is why it's unsustainable to be a commercial and world financial system. Where the blockchain, it's just more advanced, and it's a higher level of thinking, if you will, if you look at the internet as a reflection of the human mind. Not only is Web 3.0 the future or a trend, but it's something that we absolutely need. So check out this video from George Gilder and Mark Levin, and he'll explain even more why this is the case.
So you feel that we're on the precipice of leapfrogging these platforms, these technologies like Google and Facebook and Twitter and so forth. You use this word cryptocosm. Can you explain?
The internet needs a new security architecture. Anybody who goes on the internet knows it. I mean, the constant demand for new usernames, passwords, PINs, mother's maiden names, all the apparatus of security defeats itself on the internet today, and an internet that's not secure.
What is the purpose of all that?
It's supposedly to stop fraud and to create a basis for transactions on the internet. The internet wasn't designed for transactions. It was designed for email and hypertexting and communication. It was communications first protocol. And today, since it's becoming a commercial engine, the internet, it needs a security first protocol. And today, you have to virtually strip naked before the camera in order to conduct a transaction on the internet. You have to know yourself, usernames and passwords for all the hundreds and thousands of possible web pages in which you might transact. It's just an absurd system.
Cumbersome.
Cumbersome, and moreover, it's a kind of porous pyramid where all the money and power rises to the top to companies like Google and Facebook and whatever. And the cryptocosm is a new architecture for the internet that's based first on security first, and which, rather than having you learn usernames and passwords for all websites across the internet, instead you have a particular identity established on a blockchain, which is an immutable database through time. It's the most exciting thing that's going on in the world economy. It's like a new internet plus a new global financial system being incubated simultaneously today all around the world.
Now, this new financial system, are you talking about things like Bitcoin? What are these new financial systems? Who's behind our new financial
Well, today, the existing financial system, a lot of people don't realize it, but it's essentially come to the end of the line. I wrote about it in The Scandal of Money. Today, the biggest industry in the world economy by far is currency trading. It's just shuffling currencies back and forth. It's 73 times as big as all trade in goods and services. It's 25 times all global GDP. And it doesn't even accomplish stable or meaningful monetary values across the world economy.
George Gilder, you have something called the Israel test. What's the Israel test?
Well, it's a book I wrote about 5 or 6 years ago, which focused on Israel as the epitome of a successful, inventive society. It's really the most successful technological country in the world today. Most of American companies are dependent on Israeli laboratories and inventions. The cryptocosm really began in Israel when Vitalik Buterin visited the country and found, he was an advocate of Bitcoin, and he found master coins and name coins and all colored coins, as they called them. And he established Ethereum, which has since produced some $20 billion of new initial coin offerings in the last 12 months, which really solving this 90% drop in initial public offerings.
Why Israel?
Because Israel is creative in the image of their creator. It's inventive. It's really the epitome of a creative capitalist country, and that's why it's hated. That's why why there's so much hostility to it. There's no other reason.